Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's Beatrice here. After 7 years, 5 seasons, a movie, and an epilogue, Steven Universe has finally come to an official end, with the last 4 episodes premiering on March 27th. This really marks the end to the 2010s era of Cartoon Network, and so many emotions were piled onto the viewers. While Change Your Mind felt like such a great conclusion to the story, trust me, no one was prepared for this ending. There were so many great moments in each of these 4 episodes, and today I wanted to acknowledge them and especially give my huge thank you to the crew of Steven Universe at the end. Before I get into this video, this is a spoiler warning. Obviously, I'm going to be talking about the 4-part finale to Steven Universe Future, and if you haven't watched it yet, I suggest that you click off the video, watch it, and come back so you know what's going on. Other than that, let's get right to it. Let's start with Homeworld Bound. This episode wasn't as intense until the very end, where we slowly started to get into the more intensity of the finale. It served as a way to show us how the diamonds are doing, as well as Spinel. First of all, it was really cool seeing Spinel for the first time since the end of the movie. While we haven't seen too many physical differences from last time, people were saying that she was going to lose the tear marks, it's clear to see that she's more happier and sees a new way of life. She still has that goofy, silly aspect, but instead of it being mixed with envy, she was more cheerful and happy. There were even some parts where she was like mimicking Sonic's moves from the game, and I honestly think that was a pretty cool reference. I thought it was interesting to see here because it was kind of seen as a parallel. She's aware that she's surrounded and getting attention by the diamonds, and she's happy. Meanwhile, Steven's not only afraid of his diamond powers, but everyone's drifting away from him, and in a way he feels alone. Seeing how the diamonds are turning a new leaf was a good way to show how much they've changed from the original series. It wasn't seen a whole lot, but it was enough to make us understand what Steven was really seeking for. It wasn't really physical, or emotional, or self-worth. Well, it kinda was, but it was way more complex than those 3 individually. By the end of this episode, we finally realized that this is a bigger issue that the diamonds can't necessarily fix individually. Steven attempting to shatter White Diamond could have been seen as a good callback to Change Your Mind, only this time it again shows that Steven's mindset and problems have become way worse, and it gears us for the intensity of this finale. Steven really said, "I serve a higher authority." Okay, Gino head ass. Alright, I'll stop. Now let's jump over to Everything Is Fine. This was sad. It kind of brings us back to the beginning of Future, where a little homeschool was the focus. Steven did as much as he can to give a new life to all these different gems that were once corrupted. During the middle of the epilogue when he left, it wasn't really focused on as much, which kind of makes sense, but this turnaround really showed that Steven's gotten to a state where he can't fix himself by pretending everything's okay. And the one thing he pledged to doing, which was taking care of little homeschool, is something he can't even do anymore. And this is something that can really hit close to home with people. There were some parts that might have been seen as funny little small goofs and gaffes, but when you take a step back and realize what's happening, this episode starts to have more of an uncomfortable and uneasy feeling. It was like, ugh, man, this guy's really going through it. This isn't okay. This isn't okay, Steven. You need to talk to someone. Get help! The show had those moments before where it's uncomfortable and uneasy, but the fact that it was with Steven dealing with his own internal problems really gave the episode that pent-up feeling. And it also reminds us of one of the more general premises of the original show. He wants to fix everything and help everyone. Only this time, he's making worse. And then the end of this episode. Whew. Damn near choked on my goldfish. Steven finally revealing what's going on and how he feels to everyone might have felt relieving at first, you know. We've been waiting since Prickly Pear to really have him tell us his feelings. It was like, oh, finally, speak your mind, bruh, you know, until his back fucking burst. At that moment, after 7 whole years of this ongoing story, the real enemy was Steven himself. A once happy, bubbly child turned into a wormboy.png. As we kinda got closer to the final episodes of this epilogue, we already figured that the corruption theory was pretty true, but it was still so shocking and so scary to see it actually happen to Steven. It was one of those things that we didn't think would happen to Steven, you know, someone who's caring for others, yet he let it happen to himself. Now, the true climax of the finale, I Am My Monster. It was heart-wrenching and so sad to see Steven hit rock bottom, yet so interesting to see how the gems would handle it. It was definitely a moment where the tables have turned on us. Steven's internal demons are now the true ultimate enemy, and instead of Steven saving the day, everyone, including the diamonds and Spinel, were pretty much saving the day with a hug. A hug! Now, at first, some people might have thought that this was a pretty simple way to fix the whole problem, but seeing the diamonds pulled together to help Steven and Connie ended it all off with a kiss really hits home, especially when you consider the fact that the diamonds were hellbent over destroying the Earth. It can also be seen as a way to remind us of how Steven tried to help other corrupted gems or any situation in the previous show. with love and compassion and kindness. The episode ends it all off with Steven turning back to normal and everyone sitting around him, and Steven at that moment realizing that everything's not fine and just crying his eyes out. First of all, can we applaud Zach Hallison's work? Ugh. What a hunk. But no, seriously, this scene really hits home for so many people. The silence and the realization with the characters and them reacting to what's going on really reminds us that hitting rock bottom is a real thing and it's totally normal. In a way, we felt that relief with Steven. And last but not least, the future. The epilogue to the epilogue. No, really. The true final episode to Steven Universe as a whole. Steven is coming to terms with leaving Beach City and everyone around him. This was an ongoing theory that I personally didn't think was true at first, but it kinda does make sense. Steven realizes that he needs to start his real journey and move on. This show also made everyone who's been part of the fandom shed tears. And I mean tears when they recreated the Cookie Cat scene. This show really comes full circle and it made me cry, feel old, and cry some more. It showed how significant the series was from the very start all the way up until now and how much it has bloomed. Also, it's confirmed that Steven is seeing therapy, and honestly, good for you. I'm so happy. It even shows that cartoon characters can still have feelings too, so there's that closure. Everyone asking for him to get therapy, don't worry, it's happening. Overall, this episode seemed really wholesome and a good way to brighten things up after the previous episodes. There are only some small things that I wish for, like Steven saying bye to Lion, or see who's going to run a little homeschool now that he's gone forever, and just a little more of Steven and Connie's new relationship. That was cute. Also, the chest. The chest. What was in the chest? Those things probably weren't super necessary, maybe the chest, but just some small bits that I wish we could have seen. And with that, the series ends. Steven drives off and the credits start to roll. It was kind of clever when you think about it. Steven was going to leave in the end, and it was being shown to us the entire time. The title cards, the end credits. I mean, I know some people probably catch on to it before the finale, but still. Ooh, that was bittersweet. But it was also a good way to show that people move on and things change. We've been so used to seeing Steven do all that he can to keep Beach City safe and rely on the gems when going through these adventures. Now, he's going to explore on his own. The finale to Steven Universe Future was beautiful, exciting, frightening, humble, and all in all, an amazing experience. It was such a good conclusion to such a vibrant and blooming show, and I couldn't ask for anything better, honestly. I want to give a huge thank you to Rebecca Sugar and everyone who worked in Steven Universe. The writers, animators, the voice actors. Your hard work and dedication inspired so many artists and viewers, including me. Steven Universe was one of the first modern shows that I remember watching from the very start. The show really got me interested in storytelling and cartoons, and it helped me explore my own drawing style. There are so many amazing moments with representation of the LGBTQ community and going as far as showcasing mental illness in the finale. It was a show that was so welcoming, and even though it's so sad to see it go, Steven Universe will forever live in our hearts. Thank you so much, Rebecca Sugar, and everyone who created this show. You guys are amazing, and I hope the best for your futures. But what did you guys think of the Steven Universe Future finale? Were there parts that you did like, didn't like? Please leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to start a discussion. I want to say thank you so much for the support on the Steven Universe videos that I've been making lately, and overall, I just want to say thank you to the Steven Universe fandom. It was cool being part of it, and I'll forever be part of this fandom. You guys were engaging, really welcoming, and overall super cool. If you're new here, I make videos regarding news of Nintendo and animation. I do skits and occasionally I stream video games, so if you want to see any more of that, please hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you can get more notifications for when I post. But until then, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.